Hi everyone, welcome back to today's another important programming series. And today's important new programming topic is Node.js. So now let's try to understand all the steps. So first of all, here I'll explain what is Node.js. First of all, the Node.js is a fast, scalable, and efficient runtime environment that allows JavaScript to run on the server side. Built on the V8 engine, it is optimized for real-time application, high traffic, web service, and API-driven architecture. Its event-driven, non-blocking models make this a top choice for developer building modern application. So I hope you correctly understanding the concept of Node.js. Next, we'll try to explain why use Node.js. Well, because Node.js offers several compelling reasons for its wide speed up in modern web development. And we know some key benefits that makes Node.js a top choice for developer. Now I'll explain some important point because here use Node.js. First point is high performance. Node.js is built on Chrome V8 engine, and the Node.js compile JavaScript to machine code, ensuring fast execution, especially for input or output bound tasks. And the single-threaded event loop use a non-blocking event-driven model to handle many concurrent requests efficiently with minimal memory use. And another point is scalability. Ideal for scalability, scalable application. Node.js can handle high traffic by scaling horizontally and vertically. So now also explain the use of Node.js. Next point will be unified language. So now JavaScript is used in both client side and server side, streamlining development and a rich ecosystem like NPM. The Node.js access to a vast collection of libraries and the tools NPM simplifying the development. And the real-time capabilities point explain the perfect for real-time application like chat and live update. And another important point like cross-platform, it work access different operating system like Windows, macOS, and Linux. So now in the next step, I'll explain some benefit of Node.js. So Node.js now here offers several benefits, and I have already explained performance, scalability, and ability to use JavaScript for both front-end and back-end development. So here's some important benefit of using Node.js. So first I'll explain here high performance, which I already explained. It's Node.js compile JavaScript machine code, ensuring fast execution. And I also explained the scalability. It's designed to scale application horizontally and vertically. And the unified language had allowed developer to use JavaScript for both client and server-side development, streamlining the whole process. So here we have completely explained all the steps, and I hope you correctly understanding why use Node.js in today's work. So it's Node Package Manager. This is a straightforward process. So We'll go through some detailed guide of installing them on Windows, and this will include installation and verify installation process. First, we'll try to understand what are Node.js and NPM. First of all, the Node.js is a JavaScript runtime that lets you run JavaScript outside the browser. And the NPM, like the Node Package Manager, used to install, share, and manage Node.js libraries. So first, we'll start with installing on the Windows for Node.js. And I'll type, as you can see, download Node.js. So here, this is the first phase, and we can see just go to the official Node.js website, like http nodejs.org. So just click here, and we can see there's another new page opening. And you can see just choose for the .msi and also the standalone binary zip. So now here I'll choose only the window installer .msi for the beta scalability. First of all, I'll open and download for the .msi file. Just click, and here you can see this is starting. So now starting for this Node.js. So you can see here, I'll just pause because I have already downloaded this Node.js. So now here I'll click on here, double click for the Node.js and start installing the process. As you can see here, first phase, the welcome Node.js setup. So now first I'll click here, as you can see. So in this process, perfectly create. You can see if you click here and the next button. So here, this is the Node.js license agreement. Now I just have to accept for all license agreement. I'll just click here. You can see, and also click on this icon and accept the term is a license agreement and press here the next button. So now you can choose for the default location, and here, so here you can see change this. So now click on this change button. Now choose here the default installation location. So just click here in the next button. Here you can see there's click icon to 3 below the changed web feature will be installed. Now I'll use the first one, the Node.js runtime. So here you can see use for this npm package manager. Ensure and add the path for this selected. So now here you can just choose or use Node.js runtime. Now easily create this. Now just choose for the Node.js runtime. So just click on here and the next icon. Also choose this automatic install and install the necessary tool. Just click on this icon and properly place this next button again. So now here click install to begin the installation. And so now just click on this install button. Now here we have correctly click on yes, and it's starting the installation and installing the Node.js. So here you can see just wait, and I'll just wait until it's completely installed. And now I will verify the installation and open next command prompt. So as you can see, we have completely installed the Node.js. So now I'll press for the finish button. So now here you can see open, press any key to continues. Now press enter and again just press enter. So now here starting. Just wait and you can see here. Again press for yes. It's perfectly open in the PowerShell. So here you can see starting the installation. Here's perfect. Upgrading the following packages. So now I'll just wait and when it's completely set up and I'll be back here. So as you can see here, it's completely installed for all the packages. So now here we have a perfectly installed package of Node.js. Now just type enter and you can see I will open the command prompt. So cmd and inside first of all I will just verify the installation. So here you can see inside first of all I will type checking. So node space dash v. Now we just have to wait again and so as you can see it's properly installed on Node.js. And the next step we check for the npm. First of all I only type this node and here welcome to Node.js. So here I hope you correctly understood this. And now this command should display that installed version of Node.js. So thank you for watching and happy coding. Setting up Node.js development environment an essential step to start building application efficiently. Here I'll have the details explanation and the guide to setting up everything you need from the editor to version control and package management. So today, first of all, here, I'll just try to understand the introduction to Node.js. So the Node.js is an open source and cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment. It's a popular tool for almost any kind of project. So here, this is a sample and example of Node.js application. So today, first of all, here I'll show the old environment. And now I'll just open here the C drive. And inside I will, on previous tutorials, correctly install the Node.js. So here double click and now I'll just copy this path. And now here I'll just type or here you can see the search word like this system environment. So just type open. So here you can see first of all inside. So just correctly click for the environment variable and also doing this path inside and just open here and you can see and paste this. So here you can see already automatically this. So now I'll be using it. So here just skip. Now cancel and you can see it's already saved this. Now I'll open here the command line so you can see this command prompt. So now here perfectly open this and in this inside I'll verify this Node.js. Here we have perfectly available and then type for npm-v stores. Again, you can see here is the current. Now here I'll type, you can see the node and now here, welcome to Node.js. So now here I'll create a simple example and I hope you perfectly understand. So today I'll be using here this variable. First I'll apply the form, use a class operator and then max. The total output of 30. Then again verify here is 24 minus, sorry, just one space and then type for 11. So total for again 30, and here use easily apply this multiply sign easily. Show, and here also use this string type variable. So first of all, here I'll type output statement like console.log, and inside create like simple message. So first of all, here I'll type hello from the Node.js. So here's perfect, and now we'll just close the semicolon and press enter. Now as you can see, output like hello from Node.js. So here we have a complete and working and perfect setup environment of Node.js. And in the next example, I'll work for a proper example and choose for a Visual Coding Studio. So on writing your first Node.js program. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to create a simple Hello World program using Node.js using different example. So now let's get started. So first we'll be starting by creating a simple basic example. So first of all, I will here open another new folder. Like here is a Node.js, and inside I will create another new file. The file name I will create here, you can see the index.js. So here we have a perfect another new file, and inside I'll type the basic console log hello world output. So here, first of all, I'll type this console.log, and here I'll type this simple message like you can see the hello world. So now I'll type for this correctly, hello world. So here, this is a simple example, and this is the most basic Node.js program using console.log. When you run it with the node command, it simply print hello world to the terminal. So I'll be saving this code, and you can see just click on here, and now here it's already running. So now I'm here to stop, then run this code, and as you can see the output like hello world. And now just you can see this is there's a file extension like Node.js. And in this Node.js inside, we'll create a JS printed output like hello world. So I hope you correctly understood this. Next step I'll be working here will be for another example like HTTP module to display hello world on the browser. So first of all, you can see here, I'll just remove this code, and here I'll type for a constructor name like HTTP, and I'll type for require require, require, and inside included the HTTP server. Then next, I'll create again the constructor name like server, and is equal to use the HTTP dot, and I'll type for here. You can see this is a create server. And inside, I'll be including these two parameters. First of all, the response and the second. Then here, first of all, I'll be including the request and another parameter. So just type, you can see the response. Now use here proper curly bracket, and this inside type response dot included here. So first of all, I'll type the write head. So on this one. So here we have the right hand, and inside first we use 200, and first of all using curly bracket, and in this inside just type for is proper. You can see the content. Now I'll add the content type, and then use for this clone. Then also define for, you can see this inside correctly type the next text of a plain text. Now here again type the response is using the end method. And first of all, inside type another message. So first of all, I'll type, you can see hello world from the HTTP server. So here we have a correctly typed HTTP server. And now in the next line of code, first of all, I'll call here the server.is type is listen. So here just state for this time like 3000. Then parenthesis, also create this arrow sign. And then type out statement like console.log. And here type the message. So server. Just type where you can see the server running at. You can see type the URL like HTTP. And here type corrected localhost. And then just type the port of 3000. Use a semicolon and also create this. So here in this example and in this code is to create a basic HTTP server that responds with hello world from HTTP server when you visit localhost with the port of 3000. So now click on this run icon and you can see the output like server running at, and you can see just click for the follow link and here open the output which will show hello world from HTTP server. So I hope you correctly understood this simple example. So moving into the next step here, I'll apply another different example. We'll create a command line hello world with command line argument. And here remove this code the same side, and first of all I'll declare a constructor name like so the name is equal to, I'll type as you can see the process. So process process and dot chat argument, so argv, and use that to now apply the R sign and then save this message like world. Okay, and the next step here, use our output statement like console.log, and inside print the message like hello, and then use the $, curly brackets inside, including here the name attribute. So here that was another example here. And in the script, take a name as command line argument, known as give is to default true. So here, first of all, save this code and open the here new tab. Inside this, first of all, I will type the command and add the file. So type for the node space and the file name like index.js and the space, add the name for here you can see the Alex, and press enter. As you can see, hello Alex. Now I hope you correctly understood this output. Now here it's correctly done with, and we're done with today's tutorial. And I hope you correctly understood, and we are perfectly able to explore different way to write first Node.js program from console log to HTTP server and import the and basic cover. So thank you for watching and happy coding. And today's topic will be built-in local and third-party example and Node.js using this module. First of all, the building blocks of the reusable code, and just to use a different type of built-in local and the third-party modules. And it makes a practical example. So now let's get started. So first we'll try to understand the introduction to modules. First of all, we'll explain in this tutorial, we'll explain built-in, local, and third-party. Built-in is a core node, local is a custom file, and third file is from npm. So Node.js use the modules that are organized to use to reusable ports that are built into modules like FS, HTTP, and the local modules that you define in a project. And third-party modules are installed that from npm like loaders, Express, etc. So today we'll start with our first example, which will be built-in module. This will be the first step. And first of all, I'll type over here. You can see the constructor fs is equal to. So here I'll type for us correctly the require and inside including first of all the fs. Next I'll define for here fs dot just type for you can see the write file synchronization. So just type you can see the write file size synchronization. And inside I will add for the simple file hello dot the extension like text. And here I'll be printing a simple message. So hello from Node.js. So here we're using the hello from Node.js. Now I'm using here the console.log output, and this inside I'll type you can see the simple message. So file created. So file created using build in, then here define for the fs in this module. So here we'll define for and correctly type this module. This is another simple example. And here use Node.js built-in papers module to write a file. And here no installation is needed. It's already part of the Node.js. So now I'll try to run this code. So first click on here, and as you can see, so here file created using built-in fs module is properly running, and you can see we have correctly printed this hello.text, the hello from Node.js. So I hope you correctly understood this simple example. Now I'll just going for the next step, and here I'll create another module, so like a local module. So today, first of all, here in this Node.js inside, I'll create for another new path. New is there. So today, first of all, I'll type the math util.js, another file. And this is I'll create the simple function, name the add, and use two parameters, first of all, a and then b. Now use here perfect return statement, a additional b variable. So now I'll just call here, and you can see the module dot is type the exports is equal to. Here you can see in this add method. So here we have perfectly created this. Now I'll just open for the index.node.js, and you can here type the add now app.js new file and use the default. So inside I'll call here the constructor name like this add and is equal to. So here I'll correctly type this require and then parenthesis, then single quotation, then it's type for dot, then slash define for the math and here type the simple output statement console.log, and here type the simple message. First of all, I will type for you can see the sum is, and define for this add method in this including for the here is the variable value of 22, and then here's 4. So we have a correctly defined data, and you can see in this example it shows how to create and use your own local modules. And we export the function from the wrong math utils and import it here in index using index.js using the required method. Now I'll be saving this code and run this code, and as you can see here, we have a total sum of 26. So here it's completely working in this example. So now in the next topic, I'll be working for here. So this is a third-party module. So here I'll use the loaders. So today, first of all, I'll install the loader. So open a new terminal. And inside, I'll just type that command. So in this Node.js folder inside, just type for npm. Then I will just type install. As correctly type that this is a loaders. So here now again check and npm install loaders is correct and press enter. Now I'll wait, and when it's completely installed in this loader, I will try for here a simple example. So as you can see here, it's correctly installed bar in this loader. So now I'll create a simpler example. So today for here, first of all, create a correct link constructor using the underscore, then is equal sign. And today here I'll type here correctly record, and this inside including here the correctly this is a lotus. So here the lotus, and the next line here I'll define for the constructor again, and the constructor name is a number is equal to, using the square brackets inside including some values. So if I first apply the 10, 8 and 3, and then in the next step here we'll create another constructor name and declare here the maximum number and is equal to, so here using this underscore dot included here you can see the maximum method, and this inside including here the numbers constructor. So now here I'll be using the output statement like console.log, and in this inside first printed the maximum number. So the maximum number is, and just call space, then call for the maximum number variable. So here this is a third-party module is calling the loaders to just install by using this npm install loaders and use this maximum function and find the highest number of an array. So now I'll be saving this code and run this code. So as you can see, the maximum number of 10 in the list. So here we're completely running it to this tutorial, and I hope you correctly understood. So here our tutorial is completely covered, including building module, local modulars, and third-party modulars to save and the time and the code with npm package. So, and today's topic will be the event loop. So this is the code behind Node.js handle asynchronous operation efficiently. So now let's get started. First, we'll try to understand what is event loop. So Node.js uses a single-threaded that event loop architecture handles asynchronous operation like input or output. While your code runs on a single-threaded node, it can still handle many connections by offloading tasks and looping through the event queue. So first we'll apply some example like set timeout and microtask. I'll type out a statement like console.log, and here I'll be using the parameter like start, and then now I will just state set timeout. So here using this double parenthesis, also using this curly bracket. Inside I'll type again for the console.log, and here I'll type a simple message like inside set timeout. So now here I'll type for, as you can see, set timeout, and then now here I will state for 0 time. Next, I'll be using console.log, and now here it's printed at the end message. So here in the simple example, like event loop and the set timeout is set to 0 millisecond, and it goes to the callback tree and wait for the call. Now I'll save this code and run this code, and as you can see, we printed the start and the end, next printed like set timeout. I hope you correctly understood this simple example. Now we'll be working with a different example, which is fs.read file input output callback. First of all, remove this and create here a constructor. Now I'll use the constructor name like this fs and is equal. So here we'll type, you can see the require and including the module like fs. Next I'll be creating here the output statement like console.log, and here in this inside I'll type the message. So this is reading file. So here we have correctly applied reading file. Next we'll define for fs.read file, and inside included here a sample file. This is a name for the sample dot extension like text. And then here also using a single quotation inside declare the UTF-8, and then again parenthesis. So first of all declare error, and next define for the data. Next I'll be using the output statement console.log, and this inside I'll type this message, so show the file content. So let's correctly define the file content and declare the variable of data. And in the next line of code here use the output statement console.log, and inside I'll type the message, so file read requested. So here you can see we have correctly defined it. Now we'll just save this code, and here as you can see in this code used for the fs. So fs read file is a non-blocking input-output operation, and this gets sent to a threadful and when it's complete. The callback is placed in the event queue. So now I'll just save this code and take around this code. You can see printed output like first printed reading file. The next here we have read request, and the file content is undefined. So here you can see it shows the output, the read request is printed before the content. So I hope you understood this output. Next I'll be working for another different example, and which is promise.then method. This is a micro task. Here I'll again remove this code. First of all, I'll declare the output statement console.log, and inside I'll leave this message like start. Next here I'll open here promise.start, then correctly result method.start, and again use this double parenthesis, then included here the output statement console.log, and inside I'll type message. So this is a promise resolve. So here we have a correctly typed promise resolve. Next I'll again create the console.log, and inside declare the end process. So here you can see this is another example of apply the promise use task micro task queue, which runs after the current callback and before micro task set timeout. So the output is, let's just save and run this. As you can see here, first print the message start, second end, and the third print promise result. So I hope you understood this. Next, you will be working for another important example like process dot next trick. This is a higher priority micro task. So today, here first of all, you view the start and then remove for this one. So this is first of all, I'll type it correct. You can see the process dot method and use the next trick. And you can see using again curly brackets. So here I'll type the output statement console.log. And the same side type the message. So next trick callback. So use this and apply the console.log end method. So here as you can see in the example, use a process dot next trick runs event before promise. It adds the callback to a special queue that execute right after the current operation. Now I'll save this code and directly run this code. And as you can see, we first printed start and end, and third printed the next trick callback. So here we have a print to do total perfectly used the event loop. So I hope you understood everything. So thank you for watching and happy coding. And today's tutorial will explore how to work with the file system in Node.js using the built-in Fs module. So here, let's cover how to read, write, and update and delete file using hands-on example. So first of all, I will import Fs module. So as you can see here, first of all, I will create a constructor. So the Fs equal defined for the require, and inside import the Fs module. And then here you can see the Node.js provide the Fs module to interact with the file system. Just require us to get started. Now here first apply the example like reading a file asynchronously. So next step here, first of all, I'll type fs.define for here the read file, and in this inside create the simple file name. This is example dot the extension file like this. So here and now use for the UTF-8. Also included this inside arrow and then define for the date. Now use curly brackets. So inside use the if statement define for this error condition and also using this arrow. So this error again. Now apply the output statement like console.log, and here I'll just type this message. So file received. So content. Now call the variable like here it's data. So here that was another example, and here you can see in this the read content of example.txt, and UTF-8 as encoding. Make sure that result is readable text, and the callback runs on the file is loaded, and if an error occurs and it just throws it. So I'll just save this code and correctly run this code, and as you can see here we have printed for this if this error condition, and here proper error in this directory. So here I hope you understood this. Next I'll be going for here the next step, and now I'll be working for another example. Yes, this is the writing to a file. So today first of all we'll be using and remove the read file. Now here I'll call for the write file, and the file name I'll create here. This is a new file.txt. So this is a new file dot text extension, and here just print the message. So first of all, type hello from Node.js, and inside only include for the error. And now I'll be going for inside and throw output like console.log, and here type this message. So first of all, here type file created and written successfully. SUCCCSSFULY successfully. And now it's just not declared this data. So here, this is a different example, and here we can create a new file, which is new file.txt, and write the text to it. And in this file exists a overwritten and callback confirm success or catch an error. So here I'll save this code and just click this run icon. And as you can see, we have created a new file. And the message says file created and written successfully. And now we'll just open a new file.txt, inspired printed hello.node.js. So I hope you have a clear understanding of this. Next, I'll be working for another example, like here, creating the different file, pending file in this today's example. And here you can see inside I'll be creating for the append file. So first of all, type this append file name is a new file dot extension, and here you can see just create it for remove this, and inside apply the new line, and inside I'll type for this append that content. So here type this appended content, and you can see this content and save this file. And now here let's change this. Now we'll apply this another message. So first of all, I'll type here, you can see the content appended. So this is appended, and now here, as you can see here, add the content to an existing file without deleting the old content. And here use for the append file, this appends text with a new line. So here I'll save this code and we can run this code. And as you can see here, this content appended. And now append the new file printed here, the appended content. So I hope you also understood this example. And the next line will also create another example name, like here deleting a file. So here remove this append file, and here type this unlink, and then new file.txt, just remove this, and here use only error, and then throw this console inside and change this message. So here I'll type, as you can see, file deleted successfully. Okay, so here, as you can see, it's creating this code, and I'll just save here. So here you can see this remove this file used for the fs.unlink. Delete the special file, and then notice your once done, always click for error to handle missing file. So here save again and just go in here and click on this run icon, and as you can see here the message like file deleted successfully, and as you can see here it's correctly delete and new file. So here it's completely done with today's tutorial, and we correctly understood the Node.js and also provided synchronous version. And here we're done with this topic. So today we'll explore the global object available in Node.js and learn how to use process object for accessing runtime and environmental details. So now let's get started, and first let's try to understand what are global objects. First of all, the global objects are available in all models of the Node.js app without requiring any import or the and think of them as a tool that Node.js give you out of the box. So first I'll be using here the directory name and the file. First of all, here I'll type the console.log and inside today here I'll type, as you can see, the directory name and using the clone, then comma. So now I'll be using this underscore. This is a director name directory. Now use for again the console.log and inside here we print it. This is a file name. So here using the file name, so first of all type underscore, this is the file name. So here as you can see the dir name, directory name is which give absolute path directory containing the current file. And you can see this file name, this gives full path of the current file. So now here I'll be saving this code and run this code. As you can see here it's working. So first of all the directory name C folder, course folder, C drive, course folder inside creating Node.js folder. And here the file name that we same, the file name will be index.js. So here these are useful when you need to work with file path or serve static file in web page. I hope that was easy to understand. Next, I'll be working for another different example like accessing environment variable with process environment. So today here we'll remove this code and just again type the console.log and this inside here. First of all, I'll type the app like this running in and the clone. So now call for this process. As you can see in this process, dot the environment dot is type for, you can see the just type correctly node underscore env. So here use the double just use the double O sign and here type the message like development. So this is the development. So here you can see first I will apply the courses.environmental object stores environment variable. Suppose example like node environment tells us if we are in the development or production mode. You can pass this values using command line like this. So here save this and now just run. And as you can see here, this is the app running in the development. So I hope you're understanding this output. So here next I'll be working for another different example. Just getting system and the runtime information. So here first of all I'll be removing this code and again create this console.log and here using this double quotation. So here I'll select and copy this code and use for the next two lines. Now also create here the semicolon and a period must be. And first of all here we have a printing node version. Just I'll type and show the node version and the clone. Now I'll define and include the process. So the process dot is defined for the version. Next we have printed the platform. So here plat for inform this platform clone and then call the process dot is a platform. And the third step here is printed the memory uses. So MEMOR memory uses USAAZE uses. First of all, here type we can see the process that defined for the memory uses. So here that was another of example, and here you can see first of all I'll apply the process. Object gives useful information about the current Node.js process. And you can see here the version, Node.js version to install, and the platform OS like Windows 32, Linux, etc. And the memory used in memory state like heap use total, it's the same. So now here I'll be saving this code and run this code. So as you can see here, it's correctly printed the output. First of all, the version. This is the version and platform is Windows 32 and the memory used in this. So here that was helpful for performance monitoring. I hope you understanding this and understood this example. Next, I'll be working for another different example, like defining custom globals with global. So here, first of all, I'll remove this code and inside I'll type here, you can see the global dot included here is correctly, this is the app name. So use the app name is equal to. So let's first of all here we'll type the app name like in Node Basics. So here type Node Basics. And then we now use the output statement like console.log. And here inside, first of all, I'll type here right here. This is the global app name and call the global dot included here. This is like this app name. So here, this is another different example. Just here, you can define your own global variables using this global. And here, but be careful. Overusing this can cause conflict and make debugging really harder. So now I'll just save this code and run this code. As you can see, the global app name, which is Node Basics. So here we are completely done with this example. And that was a good store app void constant that avoids storing the usable data. Next, I'll be working for the last another example, which is existing process. So first of all, here I'll remove this code and inside I'll declare a statement like console.log. And here inside I'll type like existing. So exist existing. And the next I'll be working for use the process. So this is a process dot use exist. Sorry, it's not unique. So this is exist. So here this one and use this method. So here this is another example. Just want to stop the app manually. Is the process dot exist, and now I'll just save this code and just correctly run this code. And as you can see here, you can see we have properly removed this code. So that was great for scripting for CLI tools. So we're now completely done with today's tutorial, which is perfectly working. This global tools make Node.js app powerful and environment for on the most important topic, which is Node.js and its important feature, which is asynchronous programming using callback. Here you will learn how to make and handle operation without blocking execution, and we'll go through different example and try to understand it. Now let's start it. First, I will explain what is asynchronous programming. Node.js is built for non-blocking event-driven programming. This means functions don't have to wait on task to finish before moving on the next one. So now, asynchronous operation and callback. extent here. So first of all, here I'll use the basic asynchronous set timeout. First of all, here I'll type, as you can see, console dot log, and here first of all I'll just type start, and in the next line I'll add set timeout, and also use this double parenthesis and this curly brackets. So now using this curly bracket. So here I'll type for again the output statement console.log, and here first of all I will type callback after 2 seconds. So now here I'll type this correctly 2 seconds. Then here I'll add for the set timeout. This is a 200. Sorry, 2000. Next, I'll also use output statement console log and this print in the message. So here that was another simple example. Used set timeout, similar as asynchronous operation. Even through the delay in 2 second endpoint immediately after start, and the callback runs later to show the how long Node.js doesn't block the thread. So now I'll save this code and run this code. I'll just wait here as you can see and start in 2 second delay, and here print the callback after 2 seconds. I hope you correctly understood this simple example. Next, I'll work here, and so another different example. Now try here. So here I'll be using the nested callback, using here the callback here. So now let's try here. So I can see today. First of all, here I will use the constructor fs. Just remove this, and first of all, here I'll use the constructor fs is equal. So here I'll define for, you can see the return included this inside of fs. And then next I'll apply the example. So in the next line, first of all, type fs dot. This will be a read file, and here will be included the sample file. This is a file1 extension, like a text. Then here we'll be using UTF-8, and also create at this arrow. Next, I'll define here the sample data 1. Now create arrow also using curly brackets. As you can see here in this code, I'll just again try. So first of all, copy this line of code. And in the next line, so here inside, included this, and just create this curly bracket. So here at the first bracket, and so these are almost correct. I will changing this file name. This is file 2, and here I'll be using the data 2. Next line where I'll define and again use test. And in the next line, use this curly bracket. So also define here. You can see. Now use this parenthesis, and inside change this using the file 3. And again use arrow. This is the data of 3. And inside, so first of all, I'll apply the semicolon. So first here we'll use second and a third one. And inside include an output statement like this is a console.log. And here I'll type the message. So today just type all files are read. So this is another simple example here. Now I'll correctly save this code, and here we can see when the callback our next step like this, and it's because hard to read and to maintain. And this is known as a callback later, as you'll see how promise our asynchronous function, it makes this cleaner. So now just save this code and run, and as you can see here, the output is printed. All files are read. I hope you understood so far. Next, we'll be working for another important different example, working with custom asynchronous function with callback. So today, first of all, here you can see I'm creating the function. So remove this. And today, this inside, I will also remove this all. And first of all, here we'll create for the function name. This is a fetch data. And inside include here, this is a callback parameter. And also this inside, I'll just add the set timeout and to the curly brackets and the narrow sign. And here I'll define and properly call the structural data and use curly brackets. So first of all, include the ID as 1. And now here I'll also use the name as a string type, and now here I'll type for Node.js. So we'll go to the next line here and add the callback included for the data. And here I'll set the time. Now here I'll set on second. Now it's perfect. And in the next line, I'll define for this fetch data. And then inside, I'll have the parameter result and then arrow and also generate. So here I'll type for output statement, console log. And this inside, I'll define for the fetch data and include it. Here you can see the result. So now here it's perfect. Now here in this example, we'll create our own asynchronous function by accepting a callback as a parameter. And here, as you can see, we have a fetch data simulate a delay with the set timeout and return data via the callback. So now I'll be saving this code and correctly run this code. And the fetch data ID 1 and the name is Node.js perfectly printed. So here you can see today's tutorial is done and it's completely working. We have discussed asynchronous programming is at the heart of Node.js programming. So thank you. And we'll explore some of the most useful ES6 Plus and the newer JavaScript feature that are essential for Node.js program. So this feature makes your code cleaner, faster, easier to maintain. Now let's get into this different example. First, I'll create a let and a constructor. This is a block of scope variable. Now let's try. First of all, here in the .js file inside declare the let. This is another variable. The count is equal to 5. Next, I'll create a constructor. This is a name. And here I'll have the constructor name like node.js. So here's perfect. And now again call the variables count. So now here I'll be using the string type. So here using the number string, this is allow. And now here I'll be creating for, you can see, define for the name. And is equal to, so here I'll type the name as JS. And here in this line is an error because you cannot reassign it in the constructor. So now here I'll just add comment out And then I'll create here the output statement with the console.log. And this inside, first of all, I'll be creating the count. And the second, the print here. So now you can see. So let's just remove this command. Now add here the name. So now here's perfect. And here, as you can see in this example, use for first of all, the late and the constructor allow block up scope variable. Unlike the old var, use a constant for constant of late variable you assign. So now I'll be saving this code and run this code. So now it's completely error because here in this line we cannot assign a constant. So here I'll just comment out the name and now see the correct output. Now again, you can save and refresh and then run. And as you can see here, it's correctly printed. The constructor 10. And here, the constructor name output is the Node.js. I hope you understood this example. And this example will prevent bug and accidental override. So next I'll be working for another ES6 feature like arrow function. So today there's another different arrow function, provide the conscious syntax and a lexical case binding. So here first of all, create constructor, name is a number, is equal. So here I've included some number. Next I'll be creating another constructor, name is a square. So the square is equal to, including the numbers down the map. So first of all, using the n include arrow, then n multiply n. Okay, next I'll create here the output statement. This is a console.log, and here I'll type the square variable. So here you can see, just use for this example. It's making a callback and a fundamental program, simpler and less error prone in Node.js. So now I'll save this code and click on, as you can see here, all three number perfectly square, 1 square 1, 2 square 4, and 3 square 9. So I hope it was easy to understand. Next I'll be working for another ES6 feature like template literal is another important. And with the template literal making string interpolation easy and readable. So now I'll create another constructor name like user and is equal to, first declare here the name is Alex and the name Alex is age include 30. And the next step here, I'll use the constructor.log and here. So now use for this time and included first of all the user, then space and $sign and set first included, including here using the dot name. And here tab again is again apply $sign and then curly brackets. So here include for user dot age variable and completely close the sentence. It's a year 4. So here's completely created the simple example, and here you can hear the embedded variable directly on screen without cumbersome configuration. So let's save that, run this code. Just click on here and you will be able to see the user Alex is 30 years old. So here we have a completely printed output. And then next I'll create another different example then which is destructuring assignment. So now let's try this. First of all, here I'll create the constructor name is a configuration is equal to, use this inside, define the host name is a local host. Now I'll add the local port number 8080. Next, I'll again create another constructor, and inside I'll be including host, second including also the port, then equal I'll define here configuration. Now I'll use the output of state name console.log, and inside this I'll include the sample, the message, so there's a server running at HTTP, then slash, and also define this and using here like a post, then again create, so inside including the port. So here define this correctly, and as you can see here apply for the deconstructing let you exact value from object array directly into the variable, reducing repetitive and improving clarity. So here I'll save this code and run this code. So now here, as you can see, the server running and the port, and just open this. So here is printed because here I'm not including for data. So here I hope you understood this example. So now here we have correctly used ES6 module. This is optional just to create correctly, and I hope you found it perfectly helpful. Now it's completely done, and we're done with today's tutorial. We're done with incorporating this in your project for cleaner and more modern JavaScript. Thank you for watching. Today we'll learn how to write cleaner and more modern JavaScript using arrow function. Later the constant destructor, and then we'll explore a simple example of Node.js. Now let's get started. First, we'll try to understand what is arrow function. So the arrow function are a shortened way to write function in JavaScript. They are more conscious and they don't bind their own disk content. So first of all, I will create a simple arrow function. First of all, here I'll be creating a traditional function. So first we'll apply the function name, this is great. And here I'll define the name. Now inside this, we have a properly written statement. And inside I will say type hello and then $, and use curly bracket inside, including here the name. Next, here I'll apply the arrow function. Create a constructor name and is equal to, so here I'll define for the name and arrow sign. So now again define the message like hello and the $, included this inside the name attribute. Now here use output statement like console.log. First of all included great, and the person name is Anna. So now here, as you can see, here just converted to a regular function into an arrow function. And notice how the code is shorter, and if there's only one parameter and one expression, you can omit its parenthesis and the return keyword. So now I'll save this code and run. Here as you can see, we have a printed constructor name, and here the grade defined, and we have the same name is not printed. So here today, just in this line, just I'll comment it out and save this. You can see this refresh, and as you can see, the correctly printed output like Anna. And also going here, you can see here the comment out this code, and also remove this code. Now just save and see the output. So as you can see here is we have the correctly printed hello Anna. So as you can see, it's perfectly omit parenthesis and the return keyword. So now I hope you understood this simple example. Next, I'll try for another different example. Name is let and the constructor. First, understanding here, let our constructor and the block scope variable introduced in ES6. Use let when you need to reassign it a value, and use constant when the value shouldn't change. So now, first of all, I'll try to define the variable. Let the variable is a counter and apply the 0. Next, I'll create for only the counter is 1. And next, I'll use for again the constructor, which is a pi value, so equal to 3.14. And next here, will not use the full visit because this would cause an error. So first of all, here I'll apply this console.log and press print. Here you can see the counter and call the variable, call the counter. So here inside include allow reassignment while the constructor prevents it. So here I'll save this code and run. And as you can see, printed the counter is 1. Next, I'll create a pi value. So just use console.log and here print it properly, the pi value, and also include in this pi. So here you can save and run, and as you can see, pi value is printed 3.1. So here in this example, help write safer code by avoiding accidental changes to constant, like using the pi. So now here it's completely done in this another example. And here I'll also try a different example like array destructuring. So destructuring lets you unpack value from array or object into separate variable, which makes the assignment cleaner. So this is an example like array destructure. First of all, here I will define the constructor name in color, and inside add some sample color, red and green, and included here in the loop. Now we'll create here the constructor, and first of all here for the first, and then also that this is a second color and is equal to included in this color. So now I'll use here the output statement console.log, and here now try the first color and include it here. Next I'll use for again the console.log, and here type for proper, this is the second color, and define prop. You can see the second. So here, as you can see in this example, instead of assigning value with colors index 0 and destructuring later directly assign the element variable. So now I'll save this code again and run this. And as you can see, the first color is red and the second color will be green. So here in this example, it's perfect and it's clean and it's readable. So now we have a complete tutorial. And here we have perfectly used the arrow function and prefer laid in a construct over the variable and use destructuring to simplify the assignment. So thank you. And today we'll break down difference between E6 modules and the command.js. This is a two primary module in system in JavaScript. So now let's get started and perfectly try to understand the syntax, uses, and compatibility of everything. So now let's get started. First of all, I'll be creating here the basic export and import common.js. The common.js is a default module system in the Node.js that uses the required and module.export. So now first I'll apply the common.js module. And here first I'll include the new file. So inside create a file name, just use math.js. And here I'll also create another new file name, just create app.js. So here it's perfect. And first of all, I'll open the map.js. And in this inside, I'll include the function name add parameter and then b. Now use here the return statement and also create this additional operator for v variable. And here I'll type the module dot using the export is equal to in this add method. So now it's correctly created simple math.js inside export in this add method. Now I'll open this app.js. So today, first we'll save this code and open the app.js. And inside create the constructor name like app. So I'll define for, as you can see, the require and also define for dot including is a math. So next I'll define for here the output statement console.log. And here first including add method inside the value 4 and 5. 4 and 5. Now here, as you can see in this example, I'll first apply the module.export used to export the function. And here you can see the next line here, just using the require, is used to import this synchronous and commonly used in traditional Node.js project. So here I will save this code and as you can see the total result is 9. I hope you understood this common.js. Next I'll be working here with the simple example of export and import like ES6. First of all, here ES6 module use export and import keyword. This is now supported in modern Node.js with the .mjs file, or type the module in package.json. So first of all, I'll create another file. I'll have the math.mjs an extension like mjs. So here inside, first of all, I'll type the export and the function name like add. Declare the two parameter a and b. And here using this curly bracket, have a return statement additional addition operator for the b variable. And now I'll also create another new file. So in here, and then type like app.mjs. So here now I will just type import this inside include add and then type right here you can see the prompt using the single quotations and first using the math.mjs. Now here I'll type for the output statement console.log and here include use the add method and declare the value 5 and 6. So here now, this is another example. In this example, create named export with the export keyword. And ES6 module are asynchronous and promote better static analysis and tracing. Now I'll be saving this code again and click this one icon. And as you can see, the output like 11. So here we have a completely working output. Next step here, I'll work for the default export like ES6 between the CommonJS. Now let's see how default export differ between ES6 and the CommonJS. And here inside, I'll create another file name logger.js. So here inside, I'll type the constructor name is a log is equal to inside, including for the message. Then also define this arrow sign and then type like a console.log. And first of all, here type the log clone and call the variable here the message. Now here the module for this type, the export is equal to this log. So here we have a complete creation of CommonJS default export. And notice I'll also here app.js inside and here using, so first of all remove this code and here I'll be calling this direct constructor name is a log is equal. So here I'll type the require and using this parenthesis. So I have to find for the dot type is a logger. So now here we have a correct and type the log and inside I'll type the string type message like hello. So here we have a complete creation and perfect use of this export default. Now we'll use logger.mmsps using for the file. So today here you can see in this creation of another file name is logger.mjs. So this inside and the type for the export and the default in the function name just create the log inside declare for the message. Now I'll also create here .with statement console.log and here I'll just take the type correctly and you can see the log and now open for here is a message. So that was a simple and now we will be just going for first of all I'll run for this in this code and now just save and open the magic and save. Now run this code. So here as we can see it's not declared because here I'm not using this output. So include it here simply and now I will just save for the logger and JS and open for app.mjs. And inside import, so just remove and first of all type import and the log and just type the form and the single quotation dot is type for the logger.mjs. And now here I will type the output statement log and type the message. This is a hello ES6. So that was perfect and I'll just save this code and first of all give this code the save logger.mst and another one, so this is mst. So here first of all I'll save and run this code correctly. Just wait here as you can see here completely and then here save and run this code. Now also as you can see we are completely running this code. So here we are done with this today's tutorial and I hope you perfectly understood. So thank you. And in this tutorial we'll be diving into NPM, the Node Package Manager. and the package.json file. These are essential tools for managing dependencies and the project settings in your Node.js applications. So now let us explore these different hands-on examples. Now let's get started. So first of all, we'll be installing the npm package. So now here, install an external package using the npm install. Just to use popular AXIOS package to make HTTP request. So today first I'll open a new terminal, and in this inside I will type this command. First of all, I will type the npm and then type like this install and the package name like AXIOS. So AXIOS is correct, and now just press enter. So here in this code, just add Axios to your project and update package.json. And as you can see here, firstly install the 11 package for AXIOS adder. So now again here, package.json under the dependency and the node module folder is also created to store the install package. And now here I have updated the package.json with Axios listen with dependencies. So here I'll create for the simple example. And inside I will create here the constructor name like AXIOS. And is equal, so I'll define for require. And I'll include like AXIOS. Next, I will define AXIOS dot type get request. And in this inside, including the HTTPS. And include it like this API dot define for this github.com. And include it, first of all, the user. And also type this octocat. So let's type octocat, and then here define, as you can see, dot using then, and in this inside including response arrow sign, and then type output statement console.log, and here first of all type the response dot define for the data. Now I'll create again the dot including here the catch and define for this error, and then again arrow sign. Now I'll create output statement. This is a console.log, and inside including this error method. So here this is another example using this, and now I will just install the dev dependencies. So sometimes you need the package only for development, like linters for testing tools. Just you can add any of them using save dependencies. So here inside I will add another package, so npm, then also type like install, and then type like ESLINT, and then double dash type this is save and the tape. So that was perfect, and now just press enter. So here you can see in this command, this adding ESLint to dev dependency in the package.json. It meaning that it's recorded in development environment. Now here when it's completely installed, just properly show. Here as you can see, it's correctly show dev dependency section. And here properly install another added 84 package. So now you can run these tools using nps ESLint your file.js. Now, today here, I'll just apply this another topic, running script from package.json. So you can define the custom script in your package.json to automate tasks like running your apps or the test. So today here I will create here the new file. This is a package. So package package. So here already just you can see the package like .json. And here inside I'll create again, as you can see, inside printed. So now I'll be creating another new file. This is a package dot JSON. So here already here in this file. Now just go in here for the next step and include it. So in this line. So here just included. First of all, I'll be creating for the double quotation inside, including the script. So here type the script and just using clone, then create curly brackets. So inside today I'll type for the start and use this clone. So now define for perfect node and index.js. So here I will include is lint, then define the ESLINT, and then just file name like index.js. So here this is another one. Here you can see now you can use npm start to run your app, is npm run lint, and to lint your code. So here we have a complete running this through, and I hope you correctly understood. So now we now perfectly understanding npm and the package.json fundamental to managing any Node.js project exactly, like Node.js programming series. And today, in this tutorial, we'll guide you through installing and then managing packages in Node.js using npm. So now let's get started and let's try to understand handling a package confidently. So first, we'll try to understand what are packages and the npm. So now I'll just explain here the basic concept for one of this topic. So first of all the package are reusable code modules that add functionality to your Node.js project. And npm is Node.js package manager, which lets you easily install, update, and remove packages. Now let's see how it works with some example. So now, first of all, here I will be installing a package locally. Now open here the terminal and it will show you here the command. So today, as you can see here, okay, so it's perfect. And here I will just type this command for, first of all, type npm and then type for just include it in it -y. And now press enter. So now wait here. As you can see here, the printed. So first of all, the dependencies here and the express and the loader in 3 package is correctly installed. And here also the div dependency ESLint and the name in this program, the Node.js version 1.0, and the main file name is index.js. So here I hope you correctly understanding this simple one. So next we'll just open for package.json inside and in this available dependencies. So now you can see the next step here. I'll just type for, you can see the npm, and then type for install the package, so Express. So now just type the Express, press enter, and here now starting for the installing. So here perfectly installed is a new 39 package are looking like this. So I hope you understood this. Now I'll just open this package.json, and here you can see inside, see the deep dependencies, ESLint, and here also going the Express, showing the Express version 5.1.0. So today here, first of all, I will start to initialize for this project with npm init.y, which creates a package JSON. Then install the package, like as you can see here, you can see the Express locally with the npm install Express. Let's save the package in the node module and adds it to your as a dependency in your package .json. So next I'll be installing here another package globally. So here, as you can see in this line, I'll just have this command for, first of all, type npm, and then also type like install -z, and then type like here is nodemon. So here let's type this correctly in nodemon and press enter. And now starting for this, so here sometimes just you want choose available. So as you can see here is correctly is new install the 29 package, and here also this. So here in this tools now it's available anywhere in your computer. Install this package globally, use for the -z. Or so this example here I'll apply in this command, install the nodemon utility globally, letting you run it from any project or terminal. So now I'll also create another one updating this package. So just open this terminal, and here is a open this another new terminal. So here open this another new terminal, and this inside update the package. So type this command for npm, and then type this outdated. First of all, check this npm and outdated. Keep your package current by checking outdated once with npm outdated, and then press enter. Now starting this, and here I'll just wait and properly and updated, and then I'll update our individual package easily. And so just type npm and update the package name like Express. So here using this Express and press enter. So here in this Express, this ensure that you get more of the bug fixed and a new feature without breaking the project. So here we have a completely updated 163 packet. So here we have this proper update. Next, here you can try uninstalling package. So just go in here and press for npm and include this uninstall is a loader. So just press enter, and here starting and perfectly uninstall this load package. So now let's try it. And when your package is no longer needed, remove it with the npm uninstall, and the package can load. Just delete it from your node module and update your package dot and update here this package.json according to your keeping your project clean and maintainable. So here we're done completely, and I hope you correctly understood. Thank you. And today we'll learn how to manage a script and their dependency in Node.js project using package.json. So we'll here show and we try to understand different example with clear explanation. So now let's get started. And today, first of all, we'll try to understand an introduction to package.json. So now your Node.js project and the package.json file is a key for managing dependencies and defining custom script. And the dependencies are libraries your project need, and the script automate common tasks like starting your app or running tests. So here, first of all, I'll be adding and installing dependencies. So today let us first open a new terminal and add the commands and the package.json. So here, first of all, I'll type npm init-y and then press enter. So here, as you can see, it's correctly opened, the dependencies here. So now it's available with the three packages. First one is xios, iOexpress, and the loaders. So now here I'll just see and install this npm express. So here I'll type for npm and then here just type this install the package like this express and in the near center. So now just starting this and as you can see here it's correctly installed. So here first step I'll initialize just your project with the npm init-y to create a package of JSON. So here we have a package of JSON and then install dependencies like here as you can see in this npm install express and this added express to your dependency and package of JSON. So anyone can install the same package with the use of npm install this command. Next, we'll just check for here is a node man. So now add the development dependency. So here, and let's open this proper terminal, and here add this command. So npm, and then also create the install, and then double dash, then type for here you can see, and then d, and now here I'll type for the node man. So now let's press enter. So here I'll just wait and you can see we'll have some packets that are only needed. So as you can see, we'll properly add this packet which are only needed during the development. Like here you can see the node man and which automatically restore your service on the file changes. Install this add deb dependencies with npm install and save deb nodemon and they go under dev dependencies. So here as you can see here dev dependency and won't be installed, and so I hope you have a clear understanding of this step. Now we'll be defining here the custom script. So here I will add the script section. So just go in here and add, you can see here inside, first of all I'll add for, as you can see this is a start and start type for first of all is a node and the file name like index.js. Next I'll also add like index.js. So the def and clone. Now here I'll type def is a nodeman and then type like index.js. And also here I'll define for the text. So here I'll be using in this inside just type for, as you can see, As you can see, here is a node paste here. So here using this, remove this double one. Okay. And here this is a simple message, and you can see you can define the script, the package, JSON automatically support this example. So first of all, examples, run your app with Node.js, and here you can see it runs it with Nodeman for development and test run your test command. And use this with the npm and run this project inside in this package, suppose load as express, and to simplify this command. So now just update here and remove this dependency. So just going for here, as you can see, and in this inside, first of all, update this package. So here I'll type the update npm update and the package loader and press enter. Now here using for the npm update the express, and where you need a newer version and use npm update package name, upgrade your dependencies to use your remove package. So now here type for, as you can see, npm, and then type for uninstall the express, and here no longer needed, just run for this command, and both command update your package.json and the package.log. As you can see here, this inside, just command here you can see is a log.json file keeping your project and up to the data. So here I hope it was clear and you have a clear understanding up to this topic, and it's perfectly working, and we were able to manage div dependency and save the script. Like this package of JSON helped us to keep your Node.js project organized and efficient. And today we'll just install and set up Express Node.js. This is the most popular Node.js web framework, and we'll explore this with different example. We'll start with setup and let's get started. First, we'll try to understand introduction to Express.js. So Express.js simplify the building a web server in Node.js with easy routing, middleware, and more. First, we'll install the npm, then create a simple server setup with increasing complexity. So first, we'll try to install Express and create a basic server. And let's open this terminal, and inside type npm init and -1. So here, first apply this command and correctly see it properly at this init. And in the next, install for npm and install the Express. So here type Express, and now starting and correctly install the Express.js. So I hope you have a clear understanding of this. Now here I'll create a simple example, and now open the index.js. And first of all, I'll have the constant and express is equal. So now here I'll type for is equal and this on inside, including like this express. Next line, this code, another constructor name is equal to again express. Next, I'll create app dot using the get, and inside using a single quotation inside slash, then parenthesis, then type request, and then response. Now using here, first of all, type the response dot to use the send method, and here type the simple message, so hello, from like Express. So here start this Express. Next, in this line of code, using the using the listen and add the port for 3000, then parenthesis, and use arrow sign. And then let's type the statement. This is a console.log. And first of all, here type the server running on. In the URL, list it to be /, and then type localhost, and the port will be 3000. So here that was another example, and in this example, initialize your node project with npm, and here in this init inside, then installing this Express using for like npm install Express. And now this is a basic server response to GET request on the root path with a simple message. So here I'll be saving this code and run this code. Here, as you can see, let's open the server URL. Just click and open the URL. So as you can see here, print output like hello from Express. I hope you have a correct understanding of this output by now. So I'll just remove this line of code. It's perfect. And then next I'll be working and setting up the middleware for the static file. Because as you can see here, using the middleware. So just remove this. And first of all, here type the inside using just type the use, and inside including like Express. So Express dot including here this static, and include this inside public. In this example, like this Express, here only type this Express. So here in this Express, make it easy to serve static files like HTML, CSS, or image. Just use for the Express. The static method is a middleware pointing to your folder, to your public folder, and it falls inside accessible directly in the browser. Now here I'll apply the example using Express router for modular route. Just again, I'll be making back for now. I'll be creating for this example, so just make it back. And here, as you can see in this code, I will create and open this and a new file name routes.extension.js. And inside this, first of all, I'll create today and this line. So here the full line, just copy and then paste here. And the next one, create here again, the constructor name is a route. The router is equal to here define called express dot is type this. So this is a router, and also use this parenthesis. So first of all, here I'll define the router dot is type, and this is a get method, and included for the file, this is a about, and included for the first time here the request, and then the response method also create this arrow then curly brackets. So I'll type the response that is using the same, and here type the simple message like this about page router. So here type this correctly and then just go in the next line. And first of all, here I'll be using the module dot type the export is equal to. This is a router. So here is a simple example and the main file inside just creating for. So here using another this constructor name is route. So ROUTS routes is equal to. Here I'll type, as you can see, the requel and include it. So this is using single slash. This is the route. So here, as you can see in the route, now also create app dot use and then single quotation slash. Then it's type for is called the routes. So here this is another example, and here for better organization, Express lets you create modular routing using the Express router. Here just define for routes a separate file and import them in the main app. This keeps your code clean and like a pro. So here we're done, and now we'll just properly save and run this code. And I hope you correctly understood this simple example. And today we'll explore how to protect your Node.js API route using middleware. So middleware, it helps you apply authentication information. Here I will just apply different example and implement this and try to solve some real world use cases. Now let's get started. First, I will create an example of basic middleware protection. It will be a simple middleware tool to block unauthorized requests. So here I'll be using this constructor JSON web token like ZWT. First, I will define the function name. This is the is authenticated. Let's type authenticated and inside using the request response. Sorry. So using the request and the response method and also using the next. Then here I'll be using the another constructor name like user is equal to. First define the request dot including here is a header. So headers and insert it like a x dash the user. Next I'll define here, also use the if statement. Include the constructor user and then type here, as you can see, the next method. So here this is allowed request. Next I'll also use the else statement. And inside I'll type response dot included here, as I can see. Now just add this correctly. As I can see here, this is a status. And add the error like 401 dot at the same method. Now here type the message like not authenticated. Just type authenticated. So here type not authenticated and here add the app. sorry, it's not application, it's an app dot is including here the get. So here defined for using the URL, just type is open the output like dashboard. This is a dashboard. And also including here authenticated. Then inside type the request and also add the response. Now here is the curly brackets and inside included a response here dot using the send method. And here you can just show the welcoming message like this. Sorry, just carry this welcome to the, sorry, that I'll just type as you can see in the dashboard. So here, this is another simple example, and here, this is a middleware. Check if the request contain a user, if the headers. If yes, it allows access. Otherwise, it blocks with a 401 error. It's a basic layer of protection for the routes like the dashboard. So here you can see, just printed the output here, this dashboard, and now we just use and properly create this. And now let's perfectly show all output for your dashboard. So here we're done with the step, and now we'll also implement another step using another example, middleware with JWT authentication. So use a JWT to authenticate users securely. For that, first of all, we'll just add another constructor. As you can see, inside create the constructor name is a secret. Secret is equal to, here create the constructor name is my secret. So add my secret. And now just go in here, create the function. Is change, it is authenticated. Here using the verify token. So verify token, request, response, and the next. And here uses the constructor name like token. And the request and header, and we'll remove the X user. And now we'll type authorization. Just type the authorization. Next step here is including if statement and then type not done token. And use the return statement like this, response dot included here. Click it, send the status. Now this is sent like this status. And here add the error like this 401. Now here I'll also use and remove this if statement. Inside I'll just open the JWT dot using the verify. First of all, add the token. Also add the secret key. Then using like error and user. Just add the user and also create. So now using this curly bracket again, then if statement, include error, and also return the response dot just type the send status and another digit like 403. Now start here the request dot include the user and again the user, and using the next method. So here we're almost complete. Now let me remove this dashboard using this profile. Sorry, add the profile. And remove this is authenticated, add the verified token, request response. And using this response, send a message like a welcome and just remove using this $sign. Also use curly bracket and type here you can see the request dot the user dot name variable. As you can see here, inside creating in this sign, and closing here, use curly bracket and then add this. So here we are completely done with this example, and here using this middleware just to verify it's a WT from the header. If it's a valid user info, it's added to the request, and now you can predict your profile route from unauthorized access. So I hope you have a clear understanding, and that was a perfect example of different type of middleware for predicting route like basic check and WT based authentication. So the middleware makes your Node.js app safer and easier to manage. Okay. And today's topic will be REST architecture basics. So now let's get started and perfectly understand. So first of all, I'll explain what is REST architecture. So REST stands for Representational State Transfer. The REST is a well-known software architectural style which defines how the architecture of a web application should have. And it's a resource-based architecture where everything that the REST server hosts, and file and image or a row or in a table database, is a source for having many representation. REST was the first introduced by Roy Fielding in 2000th century. And I hope you correctly understanding the REST architecture, and now I'll try to understand what is REST. So REST stand for Representational State Transfer, as I said. It is an actual style for designing network application, and the REST rails on stateless client-server communication, usually over HTTP. So the RESTful API exposes resource data, entities identified by URL and manipulated using standard HTTPS method. So now I hope you have a correct understanding of this simple concept of REST. So now we'll try to understand the key principle of REST. First one is the statelessness. So that means each client request to the server must contain all the information needed to understand and process the request. And the server does not store client context between requests. And the resource and the URL, so resource are identified by URL, uniform resource identifier. Suppose there are simple URL, and here identify the user ID, which can be 1 to 3. And I hope you understood this simple example. And now we'll try to understand standard HTTP method. So first method is get is a retrieved resource or list of resource. And the post is create new resource and put update an existing resource to create if it doesn't exist. And the path is partially update to resource and delete remove resource. So I hope you're understanding the main important method like HTTP server. And the last topic, the representation, the key principle of REST. First one is the resource can be represented in different formats such as JSON, XML, HTML. And the JSON is the most common format of Node.js REST APIs. So now I hope you have a correct understanding of today's topic, REST architecture. It's a basic, and I hope you correctly understood this. So thanks. MongoDB in Node.js. Now let's get started and try to understand this topic. So first we'll try to understand introduction to MongoDB. First of all, MongoDB is a popular open source NoSQL database designed to store and manage large volume of data in a flexible and scalable way. Unlike the traditional relational database like that table and the row, like this MongoDB store data in JSON like documents called as JSON, like binary JSON, which makes it highly flexible for handling unstructured or semi-structured data. So I hope you have a perfect understanding on the basic concept of MongoDB. Now I'll explain why use on MongoDB. So MongoDB is used to make working with data easy and flexible. Unlike traditional database that needs a strict structure, MongoDB lets you store data in a way that's more like how you think about it. So as a document with fields can change and grow. Now, standing some people use MongoDB because it's flexible. Now let's explain here so that you don't have to decide exact structure of your data upfront. And this helps when your data changes often. And the next point is fast. MongoDB handles lots of data and users quickly, so apps run smoothly. Next point is scales easily. So in this point, when your app grows, the MongoDB can spread data across many servers without hassle. Explain another point, it's simple to develop with. In this point, its format like JSON is easy so that developer understand and use. And the last point, MongoDB used is works for modern apps like mobile apps, website, and big data project that needs fast and flexible database. So I hope you have a good understanding why use MongoDB server. So now here in this today's topic, I will also explain some key feature of MongoDB. First point here is document-oriented structured storage. First of all, when the MongoDB data is stored as documents similar to JSON object, which allows for complex nested data structure and the schema flexibility. Unlike the relational database, MongoDB does not require a fixed schema. So a document in the same collection can have different fields. Another point is scalability. Support like horizontal scaling through a sharding, which distribute data access to multiple servers. Another important point like high performance. And in this MongoDB, designed for a fast read and write operation. And the key feature is the rich SQL library language. So the MongoDB support powerful queries, indexing, and aggregation operation. I'll also explain here the built-in replication. In this MongoDB, Node.js provide high availability to with direct replica set, which ensure data redundancy. So this topic is correctly done, and here we have perfectly explained all the steps. And I hope you correctly understood everything. Today's tutorial, and here we'll explore working and learning how to use Mongoose. Mongoose is a powerful ODM library for MongoDB. So the Mongoose has helped structure our data and makes querying, validating easier. So now let's cover different example and connect to MongoDB as simply define and use schema and modules. Now let's jump right into it. First of all, here I will just connect to MongoDB. Today, first of all, we'll open a new terminal. And here inside, first of all, install Mongoose. So here in this previous terminal here, just type this command for npm install Mongoose. And now here, as you can see, it's added another new system package for in this MongoDB project. This folder and this file site perfectly install this new system package. And now we're starting for this example. Create a constructor here. Constructor name will be Mongoose. Just type this correctly included here. Mongoose is equal to. So define for properly, as you can see. Record and inside again type. So using this, just copy it. And inside this, perfectly paste it. Next, I'll be creating here, first of all, call Mongoose. And in this connect method, using the MongoDB. So now I'll type for this is a MongoDB. And include this clone. So now here I'll type for this localhost. And port will be 27017. And then here I'll type the database name. So this is user database. So now here we have this correctly defined, and using curly bracket inside, first of all, type this use new URL parser. So now here I'll type the use new URL and parser. And here, if this parser is true. And next, I'll also apply, as you can see, use. So just enter the unified topology. So here I'll type a unified topology. So now here, the unified topology if both is true. And now I'll create using then and then double parenthesis and arrow sign, and use output statement console dot using here perfectly like console dot log method, and type a simple message. So first of all, as you can see, the MongoDB is connected. So as you can see here is connected. And then next step here, I will use the dot catch block. And inside print error. So again, you use this one. So now after this console.log, and here we have it, this printed error message. So here, that was another simple example. Here we first of all imported Mongoose and used mongoose.connect to connect to a local MongoDB database named user/db. So here the pass option, like this is use the URL parser, and use is unified topology that counts for the compatibility. And here also using .temp and .catch block help verify if the connection was successful or if there was an error. So now I'll try. So first of all, I have saved this code and correctly run this code. So open this, and as you can see, MongoDB is connected. So I hope you correctly understood this output. It's completely working. So our simple topic is done, and here I hope I was able to show output message like MongoDB connected.